Yeah, I've been on that grind, man. Y'all know when I'm on my grinding mode, I don't comb my hair and I don't shave my face. I got that caveman shit going on, man. Shit, y'all should see my shoes. I got two giant holes in them right now. But that's how it goes, man. Anyways, so there's two videos I want to make, but I'm only going to make one of them today because I only got time to make one. The video I'm making right now, I got DM'd the question, what are your rules for friends? What are your rules for keeping them and what are your rules for cutting them off? And the video I want to make next is going to literally just be called Going to the Source because I went deep into the source recently, man. And everything that I confirmed beyond a reasonable doubt is shit that I already knew, but it was nice to verify it all. So anyways, right, I made some videos in the past about a lot of the people I've cut out of my life, including one who I was good friends with, man. He disappointed me. He gave up on his dreams, and I didn't want to cut the guy off, but I had to. If you keep weak energy around, it eventually brings you down. I mean, it has an effect on you immediately, hanging around it, but it has long-term gradual effects that people don't like to admit. Nonetheless, my rules for people in general are essentially the same. They just get more strict when it comes to friends and girlfriends and people that I'm supposed to be close with. So let me take a sip of my milkshake real quick. Calories are good for you, man. Keeps you lean as long as you don't go crazy. Yesterday was my first day working out in 2 months, by the way. I'm thinking I'm about to be exhausted and I'm about to just be weak as shit, but no. All of my lifts were the same, and when I did my mile warm-up, I wasn't even sweating, which is a sign I need to run more for my warm-up, because if you're not sweating during your warm-up, you're not warmed up. Anyways, so it's simple. When I'm interacting with people, there's specific things that I'm observing. The main thing I'm observing is what is their understanding of natural law. Now, when I'm outside in real life, I don't expect anybody I interact with to have any understanding of natural law. But I make an exception on if I'm going to interact with the person if they either show potential to understand natural law or if they're useful in another way, right? Like if I'm trying to go to the source and gather some more information for what's happening at that specific moment in time. Anybody who I make my friend or I become closer to, an understanding of natural law is mandatory. Now, I'm not, and really that's the same for any chick I'm getting serious with. If I'm going to decide to date somebody, then they either need to have an understanding of natural law or be willing to, learn more, right? Now, people are going to wonder what I mean by that, but I have automatic disqualifiers because there's tiers of understanding as well as tiers of consequences, right? All of your actions have consequences. With your free will, you're supposed to do what thou wilt. And whatever you decide to do naturally creates consequences of your decisions. That's all natural law is in a nutshell. So, before I even make somebody my friend, or before I even decide I want to take things further with an individual, I'm observing to see what actions have they already taken in life. Now, some actions have reversible consequences, like making slaves out of other human beings. If you're like a CEO and you got a plethora of slaves, using the natural definition of the word slave, a human being that works yet the profits of their labor goes to somebody else. If they have slaves, but they understand the consequences of having slaves, and they're willing to, the guy who I cut off who gave up on his dreams, he has land in India, and one day he joined a Discord call and he said, "Chris, man, I fired all my servants. I told them they're free, get out of here." And I'm just like, did you really do that? He's like, yeah, man, can't have any slaves. Now, I never confirmed if he actually did that or if he was just fucking with me. But hey, Travis, man, if you still watch my videos, if you really did get rid of your slaves in India, good job, man. That was a step in the right direction. It's a shame you totally reverted all your progress by giving up on your dreams. But hey, man, I already made a video about that. Don't need to rehash it. Okay, because all of your actions have consequences. But the example I just used, that's an example of an action that has reversible consequences. You can make slaves out of human beings, but the second you realize what the consequences for those actions are and you stop, you can then begin to reverse the process. If you have the consciousness to acknowledge you've made a mistake, then we can hang out, we can talk, and we can get along. Because I don't hang around narcissists. I don't hang around people that can't admit that they're wrong. I don't hang out with people that can't admit that they've made a mistake. You know, some people say that's me, but I've got more videos on YouTube admitting to being wrong and admitting to my mistakes more than pretty much everybody else. The main reason people think I don't is because they can't prove me wrong. Most of the time, when I realize I'm wrong about something, is due to my own reflection, my own inner reflection of the circumstances. People get extremely angry because they want to bring me down and they can't. They want to be the ones to prove me wrong. And it's funny because I make it easy to prove me wrong. I give you guys the blueprint on how to do so. Stick to what is true and don't deviate from what is true. That way, if I ever say anything that's wrong and you already have the truth, all you got to say is, well, actually, Chris, you're wrong. Here's the truth. Here's proof. Then what would I say, right? I'll come back with some opinions or some feelings or some belief-related bullshit. And that's a second, well, actually, it's all part of the same criterion, man. I only hang out with open-minded individuals who are open to being wrong, who are open to obtaining more knowledge, who are open to improving their craft, because I'm always getting better. I'm always moving forward. So a standard that I have for my friends is I expect them to be doing the same. Essentially, where I'm going with this is that you can't just be desperate and befriend everybody who you meet. You gotta have some standards. Now, there's nothing wrong with talking to people, but the mistake that a lot of people make is that they have no standards and they think that just because they're in the same classroom with somebody, or just because they're on the same sports team with somebody, or just because they fucking follow each other on social media, they think these people are their friends. And this is the mistake that they make. Because what's going to happen is you're going to find yourself in a situation to where you need real friends and you're going to see you don't have any. Now, luckily, I had the opposite effect. These last 2 years, I was in a situation to where I needed some real friends, and I found out that most of my friends are real friends, really good friends. Shout out to the squad. But I had a situation when I was 9 years old. Now, again, all of your actions have consequences. People try to lie and say that because you're a child, your actions have no consequences. You can just do whatever you want because you're a kid. And that's just bullshit. Natural law is unbiased. The universe is unbiased. If you make certain decisions as a child, it's going to come back on you tenfold. The universe is not going to go easy on you just because you're a kid, okay? That's some bullshit that religious people say. Oh, well, you're a child. You're going to go to heaven. I mean, you didn't know. No, that's bullshit. When I was 9, I was bullying some kids at the park. I used to beat these guys up. I used to bully them every day. And then one day they got tired of my shit, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm arguing with one kid. He says something I didn't like. I took off on him. Boom, right? Then somebody takes off on me. Oh, shit. And then the next thing I know, I'm getting jumped by like 5 different people. And I'm just like, this is not how that was supposed to go, right? And I saw one of my so-called friends. So we were at the park. Like, we're fighting. I'm trying to get away. So I make my way over to this section of the park, right? I see one of my so-called friends standing on top of the stairs just watching me get jumped. Keep in mind, right? He was the biggest guy of the squad. Big little soft fucking pussy boy. You know, shout out to the pussy boy. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, damn, you guys are useless. And at that moment, I've realized that. And the only reason I was even friends with these people is because we all lived in the same neighborhood. And this is why I just got done saying what I said. We all lived in the same neighborhood. He was my neighbor. We all went over to each other's houses and we played video games together, right? So I thought that he was my friend. And this is the mistake so many of you fucking people make. Just because you grew up with somebody, just because you played a game with somebody, just because they're your fucking neighbor, does not mean they're your fucking friend. Just because you go to school with a fucker, just because you play sports with a fucker, this shit does not mean they're your friends. In order to see who your real friends are, you gotta go to war together. You all have to be put into compromising situations so y'all can test how strong the rope that keeps your friendship together is. One of the chicks I dated 10 years ago, you know, the first year we started talking to each other, she was saying, you know, we never get into any arguments. It's nice, right? I didn't realize that was a huge red flag. Because if you've never been into an argument with somebody, how the fuck are you gonna know like how strong your relationship is? Because there's no conflict for you guys to resolve. I made the video Natural Order is Chaos for a reason. Everybody that I'm close to right now, I've had arguments with, I've had disagreements with. You know, I've had lectures, you know, and I've given lectures, you know. You gotta have conflict for you to see what is actually there. And a lot of motherfuckers don't have any conflict. I witnessed something last month that was hard to fucking watch, man. There was a situation, and let's just say that this girl found out she doesn't have any real friends. I watched the shit with my own eyes. I wanted to walk away, but my inner voice said, stay, you need to see this. And it was painful, man. One fucking girl helped her out, and it wasn't even the chick she's close to. And I'm just like, damn. Now I know what people were going to think. Well, why didn't you help her out? You know, it wasn't my place to do so. I wasn't the girl's friend, so it wasn't my place to intervene. And really, man, that reminded me of when I got jumped, right? It was just like, damn. She's looking around for somebody to help her, and one person that she wasn't even close with helped her. And I wanted to walk away. It was really hard to watch, I'm not going to lie. But I saw what I needed to see. This is another thing too, right? While there's nothing inherently wrong with helping a stranger, because at the end of the day, if you do it with positive intentions, all the energy you put out comes back to you anyways. But a lot of you fuckers make the mistake of y'all help people that would never help you. You know what I'm saying? This is where the stereotype that nice guys finish last come from. Because nice guys, they just help everybody, even the people that don't need to be helped, right? And when they get into a situation, nobody helps them. You got to be very strategic with the decisions you make in life, man. You know, don't just befriend anybody. Have some fucking standards. Don't just date anybody. Have some fucking standards. An automatic disqualifier for me, as you guys heard, are people that can't admit when they're wrong, narcissists, people that just don't think they have any flaws to improve. The universe is naturally flawed. Earth survives the way, because think about it this way, right? All you got to do is observe nature. If the sun didn't have flaws, we wouldn't have planet Earth. Because we would have just one perfect thing that would house everybody, right? But because the universe is naturally flawed, we have all kinds of natural beauty because of it. We've got trees, we got oceans, we got suns, planets, moons, stars, and neurivars. But I digress. A second automatic disqualifier that I honestly don't even want to say in the video. Actually, I'm not going to, because people wouldn't comprehend it anyways, and they would just argue with me and think it's some opinionated shit when it's been factually proven over thousands of years. So I'm not even going to say that in the video. Now, what makes me decide to cut friends off if they've already passed my initial barriers? Well, the one guy that I was talking about was a guy that gave up on his dreams. Man, that situation was hard, man, because when I first, well, not when I first met the guy, but at this point we had already known each other for years. He had a situation, he graduated high school, or he was going to graduate high school. This was a while ago. He was either a junior or senior at this point, but he was in a situation where he was deciding, you know, what he was gonna do, right? And he's like, Chris, man, my parent, you know, little Indian guy, man. We all know Indians worship family. He's like, Chris, man, my dad wants me to be a doctor, but I don't want to be a doctor. I'm like, well, what the fuck do you want to be? He's like, I want to be a chef. And I'm like, well, be a chef. Oh yeah, but I'll be disappointing my family. I'm like, who gives a fuck, dude? I'm like, bro, he's gonna be dead within the next couple of decades. You're gonna still be alive. Are you gonna spend the rest of your life doing some shit that you don't even want to do for a dead guy? Or are you gonna spend the rest of your life living in harmony with nature, doing what thou wilt, doing what the fuck you want to do? What's gonna make you happier long term? And for the next 5 years or so, he took that advice. He was following his dream. He was following his story. He was following his path. He was doing what the fuck he wanted to do. Then the last year we spoke to each other, I don't know what the fuck happened. He just got weaker. His energy got weaker. His voice got weaker. His eyes got weaker. And then he didn't tell us directly, but we could tell. He gave up on his dream to be a chef to follow his dad's dream of him being a doctor. Now, I already know some people were going to hear what the fuck I just said, and they're going to be like, what's wrong with making your parents happy? If it doesn't make you happy, why the fuck are you doing it? This is what the fuck I mean, man. Worship puts you in an unnatural state. Those of you fuckers that worship family, y'all throw your lives away. Y'all throw your happiness away to please some people who aren't even going to be with you. If your parents don't get it, they're going to fucking die. So, boom. You're 30 years old now. Your parents are fucking gone. And you're still working a job that you fucking hate, that's making you miserable, that's making you depressed, all for some people that are dead. Versus if you've just been doing what you wanted to do, regardless of what other people think about it, you're living life happy. You know, rather you live a long or a short life, it's a happy life. Versus living a long or a short depressing life trying to please other people that aren't even fucking alive anymore. But yeah, he gave up on his dreams to worship his family. And I politely told him, my inner voice is telling me to cut you off. Thanks for helping me in the past. It's been fun. See you around. And then I blocked him and I never looked back. He made his decision, I made mine. So, why did I rehash that story? The core, there's there's 4 things that will make me cut you off as a friend or as a girlfriend or anybody who I'm supposed to be close with. There's 4 things. I'm big on honesty. If I catch you on a lie, I'm going to give you a warning. Like, listen, man, I know you're not telling me the truth. I have proof you're not telling me the truth. Don't do that again, or you're done. They get one warning. That's the only warning. They lie again, I cut them off. You attract what you are. When you begin to allow dishonest people in your life, you begin to attract dishonesty. You begin to attract false information, false friends. It becomes a snowball and it spirals out of control. So I nip that shit in the bud immediately. 2, disrespect. Self-explanatory. 3, if their energy is getting weaker and it's showing no signs of improving. So me and my friends, we like to ascend. We like to climb. We like to go further, farther, and harder, right? If there's somebody that's not keeping up, they may get booted. It is what it is. And 4, the thing that I just described to you guys. If your energy is up here and you're strong and you're chasing your dreams, then one day you just decide to abandon your dreams, you gotta go. I don't hang around weak people. Hanging around weak people has consequences. I think I've said all I needed to say, to be honest. You asked me what makes me keep friends around and what makes me cut people off. The answer is universally simple: energy and their decisions. People with strong energy make strong decisions. People with strong energy do what thou wilt. People with weak energy do what other people want them to do instead of what they want to do, and as a result, they make weak decisions and have severe consequences for doing so. And yeah, if your energy is weak, if you're not doing what you want, if you're not chasing your dreams, we can't be friends. Probably going to cut you off. We can't be close at all. If you're doing what you want to do, if you're chasing your dreams and doing what makes you happy, then we'll have a nice long relationship. I'll catch you guys in the next video. I'm going to make it either tomorrow or Wednesday. And it's going to be a long video, and it's a video that's been needing to be made. You know, it's time to make the source video. Peace.